When you first start out in nature and wildlife photography, there's often two things that you do. The first is to find the work of other nature and wildlife photographers that you admire and try to duplicate their work. I think this is a great idea. When I first started out, there wasn't an internet, there wasn't YouTube. I only had access to a few books from nature and wildlife photographers like Art Wolfe or John Shaw. And I pored over those books front and back over and over and over again, and I tried to duplicate the shots that they were taking. And by trying to duplicate the shots that they took, I developed my skills as a nature and wildlife photographer. But the important thing is, you need to develop your own style. You need to have your own voice. If I didn't branch out and try things on my own, then all my work would look like John Shaw's or Art Wolfe, which isn't a bad thing because they're fantastic photographers. But it would be their voice, not mine. So once I had the technical skills down, then I really worked on developing my own style. And you may not know what your style is right at the very beginning. I didn't know what my style was at the beginning because I had duplicated John Shaw. But eventually you start finding your passion for nature and wildlife photography in the subjects that you take and the way that you photograph them. And before you know it, you develop your own style. Sometimes it's hard to really nail down what your style is. And frankly, I have difficulty sometimes explaining what my style is, but people know my photography when they see it. And so obviously there must be a style there. I know one of the things that I feel is my style is I like saturated colors and high contrast. So even if it's a low-key subject, I always try to have popped up vibrant colors or high contrast. And that's one of the signatures of my photography. So there's nothing wrong with studying and following other photographers. That's how we learn. But you need to remember that you need to have your own voice. You need to speak for nature and wildlife yourself. And that's just going to come in time. Once you learn the technical skills, that all kind of goes in the back of your head. You really don't even think about it. When I'm photographing, I find a subject, I am so focused on the subject and I'm so familiar with the technical aspects of photography that I'm not really thinking about f-stop or aperture or ISO speeds. I'm focused on the subject and shooting it the way I feel it needs to be photographed. And that all just comes in time. So if you're just starting out, get on Instagram, get on Facebook, pick up some books, go to YouTube, do whatever, and find some photographers whose work you really admire and just try to duplicate what it is that they're doing. And then once you feel that you can duplicate what they're doing, then start creating your own vision and your own voice. You'll be amazed once you start speaking for yourself with nature and wildlife photography, how different your work will look compared to everyone else's. If you like this video and you want to see more of it, click the subscribe button down below and become part of the Photography Naturally tribe.